What? He's here.
Damn it.
Oh, one moment of peace can he not give us that?
The Rings of Power. Black Elves. Black Dwarves. Strong female warriors.
No.
First, a disclaimer before this video continues. I am aware that this video covers a controversial topic.
You know the big one.
I will only give you my opinion on this matter. I do not claim to give you the one and only opinion that matters.
Mine, my own.
Feel free to put your points on this topic in the comments. So let us start with this. In order to understand the problem with it, let us go back to our tribal past. Why did societies, historically, not throw their women into battle instead of their men? Generally speaking, every woman has the ability to give life to a child. And subsequently to a new generation. So, let's say there is a tribal war going on. My tribe decides to send all their women into battle, after which we have a Pyrrhic victory and one woman returns from that battle. How do we then proceed to safeguard the production of future generations, little babies? This one woman can only give birth to a child every 9 months, that is if she doesn't die in labor or has other complications. In other words, my tribe would probably vanish from history. Now if we reverse the sexes, we have the same Pyrrhic victory and one man returns from the battle. He can then produce an entire new generation dependent on the amount of fertile women that were left in the tribe. In other words, the probability of my tribe surviving in those same historical records would be immensely increased. A woman is essential to us as a species to be able to survive. Men are the ones that are disposable. They have the sole function to guard the women and children of their society.
Get the women and children out! Get them out!
That is why historically men were better suited as leaders of a society. Because making policies includes safeguarding your society and your next generation. Since men have that sole function of protection, it is logical to assume they would make the best policies to that end. Just to be clear, I am talking about the broad, fundamental underlining of society. I am not talking about our current modern society at all. I am talking about societies that struggle to survive. That is not currently the case in most places around the world. With this idea in the back of our heads, we now go over to the Lord of the Rings books and pick out the most obvious female warrior, Eowyn.
I am no man.
So let us examine Tolkien's interpretation of her. First of all, Tolkien gives us an answer as to why Eowyn became a shield maiden. In the Houses of Healing, after the Battle of the Pelennor Fields, Eomer doesn't understand why his sister went into battle with the men, to which Gandalf answers,
Oh, it's quite simple.
"You had horses and deeds of arms, and the free fields, but she, born in the body of a maid, had a spirit and courage at least the match of yours. Yet she was doomed to wait upon an old man, whom she loved as a father, and watch him falling into a mean dishonored dotage, and her parts seemed to her more ignoble than the staff he leaned on." In other words, she felt weak and helpless in the midst of a war, partly because her lord and father figure had basically become a useless old man, after the influence of Sauron. Wormtongue feeded her frustrations with his words, to the point where the only escape she saw from her desperate situation was to die a glorious death, and finally have peace. Almost suicidal thoughts, but not quite. She took an aspect of male culture, glory and honor, and believed this masculine thinking would bring her satisfaction, as it did to other warriors of Rohan she saw around her. It is interesting that Tolkien shows this masculine view through the eyes of a woman. I suspect he tried to explain or show how men deal with battle and hopeless situations, but that it is not something you should desire.
Why can he not fight for those he loves?
You know as little of war as that, Hobbit. War is the province of men, Eowyn.
Going into battle as a man and potentially throwing your life away is a very miserable existence, but it is sometimes necessary to protect your society, your women and children. It is the unavoidable duty of a man to sacrifice his life for his tribe. So in order to make the sacrifice more bearable, men created a glorification around it. They tried to make something unpleasant and something that is often useless into something meaningful.
You fought bravely. You have kept your honor.
However, the fact remains that this glorification of combat and death is an illusion. This view can clearly be linked to Tolkien's experiences around the First World War. Young men enthusiastically walking up to the front, hoping for a glorious battle or at least a glorious death, much like the ones they heard about in historical tales. However, Tolkien, together with other World War I soldiers, realized that the battles they were fighting were nothing like the tales, and they were basically all becoming death worshippers towards the end, much like Eowyn had become. How I see it, Tolkien wanted to make clear to women that they are responsible for the beautiful things of life, the good things, the things that you can actually build upon and which grow, like the most essential tasks, giving birth and raising a new generation. Men have a relatively small role to play in this when confronted with war and conflict. I will now end this video by reading a passage from Return of the King. After Faramir confessed his love for Eowyn in the Houses of Healing, she told him she wanted to be loved by another, to which Faramir replies, "I know you wanted to possess the love of Aragorn, because he was high and powerful, and you desired both fame and glory. He seemed admirable to you, like a great captain can be for a young soldier. But when he could only give you understanding and pity, you wanted nothing, except a brave death in battle." Then a change took place in her heart, or she finally understood. "I will no longer be a shield maiden. I will also no longer envy the great riders of Rohan, and I will no longer take gratification in the songs of the dead. I will be a healer, and love all things that grow and that are not infertile.